So good, so good, so good.
Spring styles are at Nordstrom Rack stores now, and they're up to 60% off. Stock up and save on Rag & Bone, Madewell, Vince, All Saints, and more of your favorites.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Why do we rack? For the hottest deals. Just so many good brands.
Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you rack.
We are
cultivate.
Cultivate.
We are cultivate.
Hello and welcome to Ye Olde Crime, where we discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear. I'm your host, Lindsay Valenti, and with me is my sister and co-host, Maddie Savage.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going. So let's just jump into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
This week, we are going to be discussing Peter Niers.
Okay. Not familiar. There's a lot of Peters, I feel like, in folklore and stories, but
It's a pretty popular name.
not really ringing a bell at the moment.
Information was pulled from the following sources: a 2024 Cult Nation article by Sean Reveron, one of those, the 2023 Gothic Bite magazine article by Paula, 2021 Ranker article by Jen Jeffers, 2018 Executed Today post by Headsman, 2017 The Raven Report blog post, 2010 Spiegel International article by Frank Fadius, an Alcatron article, and 3 Wikipedia links.
Nice.
And special thanks to Carrie Ann for her research assistance on this week's episode, and links to all of these articles will be included in the show notes. I hope y'all appreciated the break last time, because this week's episode is going to be a doozy.
No.
So if extreme acts of violence are upsetting to you, I suggest skipping this one. And if you're still interested, despite the warnings, let's continue. Today's tale took place during the time of the Holy Roman Empire in Europe in the 1500s, specifically in Germany.
Okay.
At this time in history, lawlessness ran rampant. Travel along lonely roads in the countryside was particularly dangerous, as bands of bandits and robbers often lay in wait. Some were lucky to escape with their lives, although without their possessions, but many who encountered Peter Niers and his gang couldn't say the same.
Yeah. So he just kind of took and killed. Didn't really care.
That's part of it. Peter Niers, also known as Peter Niers, Peter Niers, Peter Niers, Peter Niers, was born into a peasant family in Germany. And at this time, his family would have been part of a serfdom. And for those who may be unfamiliar with the term, serfs were members of the lowest class in feudal Europe who were bound to the land and forced to work it in exchange for room, board, protection, and a small section of land of their own to cultivate.
Yep.
As a peasant, you were legally bound to the lord that you served, and you could not leave or even marry without their approval. So essentially...
Yeah, I remember that. Like, essentially a slave.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
As you can imagine, growing up in this class system wouldn't have been great. And it's been theorized that experiencing this inhumane treatment during his childhood motivated his actions later in life. Fast forward to 1524, when the German Peasants' War started. This countrywide uprising, which lasted for 2 years, and saw armies of peasants storming the castles of landowners, cities, and monasteries, was the largest and most popular in Europe's history until the French Revolution in 1789. So it was a big deal.
It seems crazy, like, of the time, right? That it was spread that far.
Mm-hmm.
That is very impressive.
This surge of violence against the upper class saw a rise in crime in Germany as well. Records from the time calculate the murder rate reaching as high as 11 to 15% throughout the 1570s and 1590s.
Whoa. So did you even want the money at that point?
Yeah, it's like, I'm good.
Like, you finally get it. You like work your way up and then you get murdered for it.
Yeah. The lawlessness that followed the revolution became the perfect backdrop for Peter to start his new life of crime.
I'm sure.
In Alsace, France, which ended up in the center of the conflict, Peter assembled a gang of roughly 24 bandits who terrorized the countryside as they stole from and murdered travelers on the isolated highways. The group would either split up to attack various smaller traveling parties or band together to take down quote-unquote bigger fish.
Okay.
At one point, they were even ballsy enough to march straight into villages to murder, assault, and attack the villagers before robbing them.
Like Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And this was in the 1500s.
Yep, the late 1500s, yeah.
Whoa.
Over the course of several years, Peter and his gang would traverse hundreds of miles in Europe, attacking people in southern Germany, western France, Bavaria, and the Rhineland. And because of the wide net they cast, tales of Peter and his crimes spread far and wide, which is why the legends surrounding him persist to this day. Peter and his band of misfits weren't captured until 1577 in the Black Forest town of Gersbach, about 11 years after they started their crime spree. And the only reason was that one of his men ratted them out.
Isn't that always the case?
Mm-hmm.
9 times out of 10, they're like, I'm not getting enough of the money that we're getting, but I will get 100% of the money.
For turning them in.
Yep.
Peter was subsequently tortured and confessed to murdering 75 people, many of whom were missing local women.
75.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my.
A member of the group, Klaus Streicher, confessed that 10 years prior he had helped Peter murder a 20-year-old woman in Gotzwald. Another bandit, Peter Oblath, drew up a list of 14 of the gang members, including Peter Niers. So he was like, here's members of the gang. Also, Peter is for sure on this list.
So it was kind of like a tier list of who knows for sure and who, like, maybe.
Now, Peter was somehow able to escape and avoid execution. And not long after this, the stories of his reign and terror took on near biblical proportions.
What?
Yeah. Media of the day, including songs, books, and pamphlets, began to circulate, describing in horrifying detail the level of depravity that he was supposedly wreaking on the people of Europe.
Okay.
Johann Wick, for example, published 3 pamphlets between 1577 and 1583, in which he stated that Peter summoned Satan in the woods outside Flasburg, France.
That escalated quickly. Okay.
Fun fact, Johann Wick has been credited as perhaps one of the first true crime reporters in history.
Does it count if it wasn't real?
Well, he followed these guys around. He would go and
actually kind of be a spy for a PI.
He would collect stories of what happened after they had hit places. So he was kind of like an investigative reporter.
Interesting.
So, how did Peter develop occult powers? To answer this,
Yes.
we need to step back in time briefly to discuss his connection to a prolific serial killer named Martin Steer. Martin was a shepherd who, following the Peasants' War, assembled a group of 48 other shepherds who joined him as a gang of bandits, because banditry was the thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was for them, I swear.
The group traveled Europe, going as far as the Netherlands, and Martin was executed in 1572 after enjoying a 22-year crime spree.
That's a long crime spree.
Mm-hmm. It's a long time.
Wow.
Now, it's been said that Peter encountered Martin in Alsace, and he was inspired by him to create his own group of bandits. And if the stories are to be believed, Martin also took Peter under his wing and trained him in the occult arts. Because why not?
Right. Of course.
Historians noted that German practitioners of the dark arts in the 16th century were under the impression that candles made from the skin and fat of fetuses would grant them the power of invisibility, along with a slew of other supernatural powers.
Gross. I hate all of this already.
Additionally, eating them could grant one the ability to transform into any number of things, including logs, stones, and animals.
Great. Great.
It's believed that Peter, in his quest for power as a dark magician, was a fan of infanticide.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And if Johann's works are to be believed, Peter did, in fact, use the skin of infants to craft candles that he would use to break into homes undetected.
I hate this.
He also allegedly took the hands and feet of his infant victims, especially if they were male, as well as their hearts, and ate them.
I hate this man.
Another rumor is that he would hack off the breasts of his young female victims.
Oh my God.
Throughout his flight from the law, Peter reportedly changed his appearance to avoid capture. Some of his disguises include a soldier, a leper, and even a goat. And regardless of what form he took, Peter was always said to travel with, quote, money, 2 loaded pistols, and a broadsword, end quote. So those are the 3 things he would always have on his person.
What?
So
I hate this man so much.
So I'm just picturing like a goat with like a pistol belt,
a broadsword in his mouth or something.
A pistol belt and like a broadsword like strapped onto his back somehow. And he's got like a little coin purse of money on his belt.
I hate it. I hate it so much. And it's just like so obviously a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just so painfully obvious that it's a man.
Yeah. Peter's 1579 arrest warrant described him as, quote, rather old, end quote, with a scar on his chin and gnarled, crooked fingers.
Gross. I hate that.
It wouldn't be until 1581 that Peter's murder spree would finally come to an end near Nuremberg in September of that year. But if you think that was the worst of today's tale, think again.
Of course not.
The day of Peter's arrest, he was enjoying a bath at a bathhouse near the Bells, an inn where he was staying. The local townsfolk badgered the innkeeper into opening Peter's leather pouch that he had left in the innkeeper's care while he was away, because a few of the people who were also at the bathhouse recognized him based off of the arrest warrant posters that were around. And so they ran back to the Bells and they were like, oh my God, we think he's there. Let's look inside of his bag.
Yep.
And inside, they discovered the dried remains of hearts and several fetal hands.
That would be so horrific.
With irrefutable proof that a black magician was in their midst, the 8 men descended on the bathhouse, and Peter was apprehended without much of a struggle.
Yeah. Where can you go from there?
Yeah. Several people believe that the only reason Peter was able to be arrested so easily was that he was found without his magical objects, and was thus rendered quote-unquote visible to the naked eye and also vulnerable.
Sure. Whatever you need.
Yeah. Either way, he surrendered and confessed to a whopping 544 murders, of which 24 were pregnant women.
So he says he's killed more than 500 people, almost 600 people.
Yep.
Oh my God.
The Neumarkt courts decided that Peter's heinous crimes deserved a heinous execution. And so it was that Peter was awarded a particularly harsh death sentence.
Go on.
For 3 days, Peter was tortured to death.
Good.
On the first day, strips of flesh were skinned from his body, and hot oil was poured into the wounds. The second day, Peter's feet were greased and held above a pit of burning coals in an attempt to roast him alive.
Nice.
The third and final day, Peter was dragged through the streets before being strapped to the breaking wheel and endured 42 blows. For those who are unfamiliar with the breaking wheel, here's the Cliff Notes version of what it is. Quote, arguably the most popular and horrific of all medieval tortures, the device known as the breaking wheel was actually even worse than its name. Typically made from a wooden wagon wheel large enough to hold a person, the breaking wheel had radial spokes that could work in a variety of ways. Sometimes the condemned were lashed to the wheel while their limbs were beaten with a club or iron cudgel. Other times they were laid out spread eagle on the top of the wheel where they could be beaten and then properly displayed afterwards. End quote.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
By some means, be them demonic or a simple twist of fate, Peter was still alive after enduring the breaking wheel.
No.
In the end, the executioner dismembered Peter while he was still alive via quartering to finally kill him on September 16th, 1581.
Oh my God. I think at that point I would believe he was a demon. I like truly. I you don't believe in a lot, but 3 full days of that and that's what kills him. Yeah, I might I don't know, get more garlic, do something, salt.
Yeah.
Do something cuz what?
Thus ended 15 years of terror at the hands of Peter Niers.
15 years.
But how much of the tale is truth and how much of it is fiction?
Right.
If we factor in just how long it's been since Peter committed the crimes and the unreliability of written records from that time in history, because this is the mid to late 1500s, it's hard to say how much of his crimes and his kill count were exaggerated.
Right.
This is also compounded by the fact that his story may be getting messed up with those of other prolific serial killers of the era.
What?
Christman Genipperteiga and Peter Stump. Christman was alleged to have killed 964 people, and he was ultimately executed via the breaking wheel, while the other Peter, Peter Stump, believed that he was a werewolf and committed acts of cannibalism by allegedly eating 14 children. We have discussed this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about him a couple of times.
Yes. Now, historians believe that Christman, due to the sheer numbers of victims, is likely a fictional representation of Peter and other murderers of the time.
Okay, so he's the exaggeration that keeps kids in their homes at night.
Yeah, he's like the boogeyman, essentially.
Got it.
Now, today, we look back on the types of tortures that convicts endured as part of their execution with a sense of horror. But at the time, there was a real justification for the extremes that criminals were forced to endure. I did not know this, and I found this very interesting.
Okay.
Legal scholar Wolfgang Schild notes that, quote, the carrying out of inhuman sentences was part of everyday life. All brutality aside, the criminal law of the day was also concerned with the salvation of the convicted criminal, end quote.
Interesting. So they have to they endure the trials here so that they can be saved in death?
So the view at the time was that only when the body had been quote unquote softened up could the soul be liberated to ascend to heaven.
Ew. Ew, softened up. Ew.
I know.
I hate it.
So essentially, that physical pain had a sort of purifying power, allowing even the worst of criminals the chances at redemption.
Got it. That's an easy excuse.
Yeah, right? This is for your soul.
Real easy.
This is for your soul. We're doing this for you.
Good.
We're doing it for you.
Yeah. You don't need fingers in the afterlife.
No. You may also be wondering why the breaking wheel. Throughout the Holy Roman Empire, the breaking wheel was seen as a punishment fitting the crime of highwaymen and street thieves, sort of like a mere punishment, if you will.
Oh, yeah. It's nipping it in the bud, like immediately.
Well, and it was one of those, like, the punishment fits the crime type of things. Like, they were very literal in, okay, you did this thing, that's how we're going to kill you or punish you.
Yeah.
And the breaking wheel was also used for murder and for arson if the arson ended up causing fatalities. Fun fact, in the Holy Roman Empire, Emperor Charles V noted in the law book of the time, the 1532 Constitutio Criminalis Carolina, that every dismemberment or quartering should be done, quote, to cut and hack apart his entire body into 4 pieces, and thus be punished unto death, and such 4 parts are to be hanged on stakes on 4 common thoroughfares, end quote.
I hate it.
Because, there are some versions of quartering where they're drawn, and the Holy Roman Empire version was very much cutting, not tearing. Final fun fact. The last known execution via the breaking wheel, which is also known as the execution wheel, Wheel of Catherine, or St. Catherine's wheel, took place in Prussia in 1841.
Holy smokes. Who was the poor person that dealt with that late?
I don't know, but now I'm going to look it up.
Like, what did they do to deserve that in 1841? I would love to know. Must have been awful.
But yeah, that is the life and times and execution of Peter Niers, one of Germany's most prolific serial killers, if history is to be believed.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I can't fathom that much violence that consistently for so long and just getting away with it.
Yeah.
Every time.
It's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
This week's listener question comes from Carrie Ann.
Oh.
We have both been put in the 1850s USA for a week. How would we wreak havoc, and what scandals would we take part in throughout that week? I can't remember off the top of my head what 1850s America was. If it was early 1850s, it would have been Fugitive Slave Acts would have been in place.
I was just thinking of would I be around here, and the answer is a really big emphatic no, because this place was not established well. Minnesota was not established well at the time and was still primarily fur trading.
Yep.
If I had my insulin pump, I would be about as good as long as the battery lasted, which can be about 5 days. So like kind of rampant, but and then I could drink, if I drink a steady stream of alcohol, I can help control my blood sugars that way. So I'm just always drunk. Starting out strong. So what would you have done?
This was right before the Civil War broke out.
Mm-hmm.
Abolitionist movements would have been in play. I probably would have taken part in rallies.
So you would be in a more like city, metropolitan, denser populated area.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could see myself more being an activist of some sort, probably, yeah, in areas like New York or maybe Chicago.
Go until you get in trouble?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm. You could also just do other things while you're there too.
Meh.
Meh.
Going into an opera theater and seeing it in its heyday would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the really beautiful wooden buildings that all burned down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, on that note, what's something good you'd like to share?
I went on a date last night with my husband and it was really great.
Nice.
We went to go see the movie Hopper.
How was that?
It was good. It was a cute little movie, and our movie theater is nice and small and clean and has reclining seats, and it was just the perfect little date.
Nice.
We had a great time. How about you?
I started therapy again.
Nice. How's it going?
Good. I've only had 2 sessions so far, but I like my new therapist. We've come up with a plan, and the platform that I'm using is covered through insurance, which is always great.
Nice.
That's part of why I picked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked her because I liked her treatment plan. So I do best with plans that are CBT or DBT sort of
Mm-hmm.
planned. And she had me download this app that is free, and I will include a link in the show notes for people that are interested. And it's called How We Feel.
Mm.
And it's a free app, and it's science-based.
Okay.
And so it's backed up by like scientific research. And you go in and like it'll ask you, how are you feeling? And there's like the 4 main things you can choose from, which is like high energy and pleasant, high energy, unpleasant, and then the 2 converse. And then after you click that, you can choose a more direct word. It's good because it's one of the things that I struggle with, and something that's part of my treatment plan is being able to better articulate what I am thinking and feeling in the moment, and also being able to better identify what I'm feeling so that I can either convey it to others or be able to recognize it myself and be like, oh, I am feeling blah. And this is how I can get myself back to whatever. And so I've been using that, and we're going to be kind of going through and examining my findings or the things that I've input over the past week in my next
your
session.
observations.
And we'll kind of talk through them. But that's my something good, getting back into therapy and trying to get back on track with like monitoring what's going on with my mental health, not just medicating myself.
Nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Shall we?
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't be here without support from listeners like you. If you're interested in supporting us financially, you can leave a one-time or monthly donation over on Buy Me a Coffee or our Venmo page. Links are in the show notes. And we make a point of reaching out to send you a thank you note and stickers to show our appreciation.
Want to show your support in a more concrete way? Pick up some Yield Crime merch over at our TeePublic shop. We shout out whenever there is a sale each month, and we work to make sure we're creating new designs and changing it up whenever possible. And hey, thanks for listening.
If you love the show, the best way to support us is to leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Good Pods, CastBox, Podcast Addict, and or Audible. Links to all of these are in our show notes, or if you're already listening on one of these platforms, you know what to do.
Oh, and while you're at it, shoot us a question you'd like to hear us answer on the pod. We'll give you a special shout out and address your burning questions all at the same time. The weirder, the better. Submit them via link in our show notes or shoot them to us in our DMs.
We love to hear from you, and there's a couple of ways you can reach out to us. You can email us at yeoldecrimepodcast@gmail.com, where you can send us story ideas, share any spooky stories you may have, fun gifts, or even just to say hello.
You can also reach out to us via snail mail. Remember mail? Our mailing address is Ye Olde Crime Podcast, P.O. Box 341, Wyoming, Minnesota 55092. Fun fact, we like to send out thank you cards with fun stickers you can't get at our shop, so it's worth the cost of a stamp.
Want to be social with us? You can see pics from this week's episode, bonus content, and funny memes on X at Ye Olde Crime Pod, or on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube at Ye Olde Crime Podcast.
Speaking of YouTube, we have a special playlist just for our Can You Crack the Cramp Word segments with our guest podcasters to see who can correctly guess the meaning of some obscure Victorian slang terms. If that's your thing, check it out.
And on that note, as always, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Madison.
And we'll see you next time with another tale
As old as crime.